From Walt Whitman. While I know that Niagara Falls, Yosemite, and the like afford some of this nation's greatest natural shows, I am not so sure but that the prairies and the plains last longer, fill the aesthetic sense fuller, precede all the rest, and make North America's characteristic landscape. A landscape that in northeastern Illinois still supports important natural resources, but a landscape that's under threat. About 8 years ago, a group of us began to meet to throw together ideas. I guess we were casting and framing a vision, but it felt more like we were throwing ideas against the wall. The group consisted of advocates, scientists, biologists, and artists, but the common theme, a love and a passion for the land and the biota. The idea of a refuge seemed to stick the best, and we came up with this interesting name, Hackmatack, and I want you all to repeat that after me. Hackmatack, very good, an Algonquin Indian word for tamarack tree. It's been the namesake for this proposed refuge now for quite a while. The proposed refuge lies within the Chicago Wilderness Green Infrastructure. It straddles the state line, and it lies within easy driving distance of approximately 9 million people. And it's that location, actually, that's been important. But also, in retrospect, one of the things that we had to do, and one of the easiest things, was building a biological case for this refuge. The area supports communities that are considered of global significance. Prairies and plains, a number of the state's endangered and threatened species. We've also worked to show how protection of this land and this landscape supports regional, statewide, multi-state conservation planning efforts. In other words, we had to speak the lingo of the different natural resource agencies and show how this refuge fit. We wanted to reconstruct a landscape described by E.O. Smith in 1834. The view from this mound beggars all description. The spectators surrounded by the prairies like the vast waves of the ocean, and every here and there appear spots of trees as if planted for the purposes of ornamenting that naturally splendid scene. We've also worked with the Fish and Wildlife Service, and contrary to claims, there is not a wildlife refuge within easy driving distance or an hour of Chicago. We are missing out, and we've hammered that message home to the Fish and Wildlife Service. We've also shown how the location of this refuge supports the service's own urban refuge policy, a policy that is designed to bring people out to their locations to inform them and develop a citizenry that will support fish and wildlife conservation. That's been key. As part of building the case for a refuge, we've also developed the economic case for a refuge with Trust for Public Lands and Open Lands, commissioned a study by Fermata. They estimate that 200,000 visitors will visit this refuge and spend between $7 to $25 million. And that's important to local communities, gateway communities that are literally and figuratively at the crossroads as they make decisions for the future on how their communities will survive as cookie-cutter communities or communities that honor traditions. We've pointed out to these communities that refuges support traditional hunting and fishing opportunities and bring new opportunities for enjoying the wildlife and the landscapes that they themselves have enjoyed over the years. It's been an interesting process and a journey. As we build momentum, one of the big momentum builders was when the idea of a refuge surfaced as one of 21 green legacy projects with the Burnham Plan Centennial. Governors wrote letters. We had letters of support from senators and representatives. That caught the attention of the Fish and Wildlife Service, but also building the biological case made a lot of sense to them. And in response to that, the Fish and Wildlife Service visited the site. We shared with them the biological case for a refuge. We toured them. We provided wine at the local communities. And as this process unfolded then, the Fish and Wildlife Service came back after they approved their preliminary project report and held a series of public meetings where over 500 people attended meetings in Illinois and Wisconsin. And 80% or more of the people supported the concept of a refuge. And certainly the local paper there, the Woodstock, has come on board with Hackmatack, a good fit for the region. Also, the Fish and Wildlife Service has determined that it's going to be important into the future to create 10 new urban refuges over the course of the next 15 years. The momentum continues to build. The idea of this refuge also emerged as one of the American Great Outdoors projects for Illinois, the Hackmatack project, the Millennium Reserve, but these are ground-up, local grassroots planning conservation efforts. And as the momentum builded, we've got more supporters, the print gets smaller. Okay, and so actually as I wrap this up, the Friends of Hackmatack invite the Vital Lands Summit to be part of the dream, a dream for a new wildlife refuge in the heart of a metropolitan area that still has important natural resources. Thank you very much.